Yeah, 13 August. In just a few days, Janmashtami. And then Srila Prabhupada's appearance date. No, I got a message from Govardhana Dari here in Vrindavan. He sent me a quote from Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada saying, if the politicians, diplomats, and they are trying to establish, like if they're really trying to establish peace in this world, the United Nations is there, and there are many other organizations also. They are trying to have real peace and real tranquility, and with no misunderstandings between man to man, nation to nation, but this is not happening. That is not happening at all. The defect is, in other words, there's a root cause. Yeah, the defect is that in the root, it is all wrong. Everyone is thinking, this is my country, this is my family, this is my society, this is my property. This mine is only an illusion. And then that was in 73 in London. Then Srila Prabhupada also made another one. Krishna claims that I'm everyone's father. Therefore, he is very much anxious to make us peaceful and happy. Just like the father wants to see the son is in well situated, happy, similarly, Krishna also wants to see every one of us happy and well situated. Therefore, he comes sometimes. Yada yada. Hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata. This is the purpose of Krishna's advent, which is coming in a few days. So those who are servants of Krishna, devotees of Krishna, they should take the mission of Krishna. They should take up the mission of Krishna to make everybody happy, bring everybody to their senses. Now remember, I and mine. This is the actual fact. The I and mine is the root cause. Okay, so now I made a comment here. This I, oh, excuse me, let me, here. Okay. This I and mine is only sinful activity. Understand, it's the origin, it's the root cause. I and mine. Misidentification is the only sin. It's the only sinful activity that the living entity can actually do. We can't do anything else. Everything is just different shades of the same thing of I and mine. That's all. Now, trying to quote something from the Vayu Purana, it states the facts. As the I and mine increases, the Satya Yuga changes. So, how was the beginning in Satya Yuga? The sun was favorable. It was favorable to everything. You could sit in the sun all day long. The temperature was favorable. And the different rays of this. Now, we already know the sun rising rays are very good for vitamin D. And the sun is controlling cortisol throughout the day in different ways. So it's not strange to say that the sun could nourish you completely. So here it is. You get the picture. The person is sitting there, and the sun is actually nourishing him. Okay. And, yeah. Okay, then, later, when the I and mind increased, clouds then formed and they blocked the sun. Everybody is thinking, oh, the clouds are so wonderful because they bring the crops and everything. But Back then, not necessary. Then the rains came. Another thing that, troubles people. The blocking of the sun troubles people. The rains coming troubles people. Many times it comes too hard. Then, after the rains came, huge forests then developed and produced, of course, fierce animals. Now, the person that was just sitting on the banks and taking in the sun rays, now he has to climb up a tree, make a house. The trees gave shelter, and also the tree gave clothing. This is important. There was no shame before. Shame was not there. How could shame not be there? Try to think of it. So now the persons have to put some, actually at first it was just the barks of a tree. Then after a while they started making clothes. So now they have to hide in the trees from the fierce animals. And some fierce animals can go up the trees. With the house, no more moving around. Now you couldn't just pick up yourself and walk around and do anything. Now you had to stay in one place. And the tree was mine, and the land around it was mine. Sometime after Satya Yuga, there was much fighting. There was so much fighting after Satya Yuga that Sri Brahma himself had to come and establish the 4 ashrams and varnas. The ashrams and varnas were not needed in Satya Yuga. They were products of the increase of I and mine. In other words, we're following this down. The I and mine is destructive. Only after much time did the people have to clear the land for their food. Now a lot of work starts. Now you have to clear the land, you have to plant something. And so that now the grains were coming and they were necessary. Now free time had completely disappeared and hard work only came. No time to lay around, no time even to think anymore. At first you sat, in other words, in Satya Yuga, you sat on the earth. And this is in Vayuprana. And the earth gave nectar. I don't know how they took it, either in their hand. I don't think they had cups. But they just took the nectar and drank the nectar. And also the sun gave energy. Then with the increase of I and mine, the nectar from the earth began to disappear. And then what happened is now the rain comes, so the small Kalpavriksha trees. Kalpavriksha trees are trees that give what you need. So now the Kalpavriksha trees were maintaining the people. But then the people fought over the Kalpavriksha trees and they hid themselves. So the Kalpavriksha trees disappeared. And then the heavy rains come, and then the forests come, and the fierce animals come, and everyone. Okay. And the big jungles. And also, at this point, there was no need of Ayurvedic medicine in the beginning. No need. Understand, there was no need. So the I and mine increased our disease. The I and mine is the root cause of all problems. So now Ayurvedic medicine had to come into, this is in Treta Yuga. In other words, thousands of years had passed without this having to happen, and now it's happening. Then the rains and large animals and everything. Okay, now let's backtrack a little bit. In Satya Yuga, living entities were balanced, or they were combined man-woman. I don't want to say, the man, but they were the combination of man and woman. There was no sexual attraction. Now this is important, because there was no negative positive. the sub chakras in a lady are exactly opposite of the sub chakras in a man. You can't change that. Even if you do so many operations, you can't change that. So the man and the woman, they have their chakras completely different. And grab this, energy always, you put a magnet, positive, negative one to come together. Very hard. It's very strong. EMF is very strong. So it wants to come together. They want to combine. They don't want to be separate man and woman. So this wanting to combine then produced offspring. Okay, now let me go back to this, what I wrote. With I and mind sinful conceptions then increased naturally, I wanted to increase my own I and mind, right? I want some offspring. I want to increase my own I and mind. I am calling Brahma or Krishna to please produce something so I can have my own I and mind and continue. That could only be done by separating man and woman. So it was my desire that forced Brahma to stop doing mental children and give us separated man and woman. Now each separate man and woman could only feel whole if they were united. Hope you're grasping the conception. The separation of man and woman was no advantage at all. It was no progress at all. Before we were all mind children of Brahma, tranquil, sitting as it was stated, nude, satisfied, no problem. After the separation of man and woman, no memory of Sri Brahma was there at all. It all was lost. Logically, we cover our own memory. We ask to know what our past was, but we have covered our own memory. Before all were directly offsprings of Brahma's mind. They were complete, and they could sit and do what is called danya. If I'm mispronouncing it, excuse me. But danya sometimes is said as meditation. No, danya is not meditation. Danya comes to you, and it satisfies you. In other words, someone else is knowing what you should have, and danya is satisfying you. So you're sitting there, you're drinking your nectar, you desiring to go back to Godhead, and all the information is coming to you. All the information, like libraries of information, not a little bit. And you don't have to talk. There doesn't have to be a language, a written language. It's coming to you through danya. Then meditation comes later. Now, everything was like a message from above, while meditation is you trying to get. But really, you don't know what to get. Danya is the above you because it knows what you need. But meditation, no, you are probing into something. No one can blame the Creator. We increased the I and mind. We made this mess. Remember now, we don't accept, let's see. Oh yeah, we're not waiting what's good for us. We are trying to grab what we think is good for us. And we don't even know what we should want. It's like so crazy. Important is to note that all the above is not a result of someone else. It's not a result of someone else. No, we are here since Satya Yuga until now, and we are making our own troubles. In other words, we have failed and not gone back to Godhead so many times. And we have made whatever you see around you, all the troubles are made by you and me, of course, our own troubles. All nature every particle of nature wants to be balanced. They don't want to be into a negative and positive position. They want to be in a balanced position where they're together, just like men and women want to be together. Natural electricity, the positive, negative, is to be balanced. It's the fight. It's its fight to be balanced. It has to come to that fight. All energy feels incomplete in a great anxiety to be complete. So, what has happened to make it incomplete? It was not the desire to Krishna to make energy incomplete and place anxiety in everything. So where did this incompleteness manifest from? But yes, you guessed it, just by the increase of misidentification based on I and mine, it has been forced to manifest. In other words, we have torn apart nature and separated it into such a electric charge. We have pulled and forced energy to appear like multiple energies. It is a creation of the EMF. All energy is desirous of being neutral. Anybody can figure that one out. Being in the state of positive and negative is not natural. So with the force of increasing of I and mine, nature is being pulled apart and appears to be negative and positive. We can not create, I'm not a creator, but we can surely call our own illusion to cover us. So we call our own illusion to cover us. So it is not a one-person action. It is a combination. We're all working together, boys and girls, every one of us, every particle in this world. So I just end there. Hope it brought some understanding.